Hey artists, here is the video tutorial on how to set up your dessert slice base. You're going to need 2 sheets of paper and liquid glue and also a couple of clothespins. Let's get started. We're going to start with one piece of paper. We're going to format it landscape or horizontally so that it is the long side on the bottom and the top, and we're going to fold that bottom side all the way up to the top so it'll be in the middle of the paper. We have a fold. Make sure you line it up so both lines are sitting right on top of each other, and then press down that fold really hard. If you need to make a really nice crease or fold, you can use the back of your finger with your nail or an object nearby you to press a nice crisp fold on the paper. And we're going to repeat this process with the second sheet of paper. Now we're going to take one of the pieces of paper we just folded, and we're going to use that crease line that we originally made as a guideline for our next fold. So I took the bottom of my paper and I folded it up to that first line that was made. I'm going to flip the paper over and do the same thing with this other section. I'm going to make that side meet the top of the paper where I just folded it over as well. And make sure when you have the paper situated where you want it, then press really firmly to push the paper into place. Don't make those big fold marks, those creases, until you're exactly sure where you want the paper to go. We want these long rectangles to be able to join in more of a three-dimensional way. So we're going to start shaping them to have more form. We're going to take the short end and join it to the other short end or the short side of this paper. Line them up. Once they're situated, then you can push out the section to make it match, and then go ahead and press it really firmly to give it a nice crisp fold. We're going to open it up, and now we're going to use that fold line as a guideline for the next fold we're going to make. We're going to take the left section and join that short end into the fold that we just made. All right, we're going to open that up, and this has created almost the entire structure of our dessert slice. We need to build an attachment so that we can connect it to make the full triangular form. So we're going to use this second piece of paper for that. So go ahead and grab that. We're going to fold this in half, short side to short side again, to create that center fold with assistance from Kirk, of course. All right, we're gonna open our paper up, and then we're going to work with the left rectangle that we just created. We're gonna pull that short side over, fold it up to the fold line, and then press that fold down. And then we're gonna leave the long right rectangular side alone. So this paper is done. Then we're going to connect these two together, these two pieces of paper, so that we can create this dessert slice form. So on one of the long rectangular sections, open up both of those smaller folds, and then we're gonna slide. You want the two squares going in first. We're gonna slide to match the square to the square section, line it up, and then push it till the square is just a little bit hanging over on the rectangular side. And then we're gonna fold those two pieces up on top of each other. And then now this paper that is flat, we can use the folds that we created and manipulate them to build our dessert slice form. So we're gonna take those two rectangular long sections and join them. And this will create our dessert slice form. Before I use glue to permanently connect those two sections, I am looking at my sculpture from all sides, and I want to make sure that my folds are crisp and clean and straight, and so I'm going back over with my glue on some areas I noticed need some touch-up. So make sure you check all surrounding sides before you start attaching the paper with glue. We're going to take our liquid glue and apply it at the end of the long rectangular sections and glue those folds over onto each other so that they stay put during our final folding and closing up of this dessert slice process. When all the paper has been glued and folded into place, then you can bend those two long rectangular sections to meet at a point, and we are going to apply glue on the end of it so that they can be joined together permanently. We're going to hold the end of this dessert slice at both points on both sides, and we want to pinch with both of our hands. We would be sitting here a very long time for our dessert slice to dry, so if you have clothespins or binder clips or something that could pinch this point while the glue is drying, that would be very recommended. Be mindful where you do place the item that you're using to hold our attachment, because if you put the grips too far in, it will change the shape of that really nice point and that angle on that dessert slice. So make sure you use your judgment and check the form that you're creating when you are putting something to close up and hold this part of the dessert slice. And now we need the top of our dessert slice. So you should have a third piece of paper. We are going to use the shape that we've created as a template or a stencil and trace the exact size that we need of paper to fit on top of our dessert slice. So I'm going to turn my dessert slice over on the preferred side that will be the top. So I picked the side that has a really nice point at the very end, and then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace around the triangle all the way around to get the top to match my dessert slice form. Once you have the top of the triangle outlined, then you're going to use scissors and cut it out. I do like to cut it a little larger just to make sure that I did trace it correctly, and then I can go back and resize it or edit, trim up any sections that are necessary in order for it to fit. So make sure you are taking that triangle and setting it on top of your dessert slice and fitting it before you do put the glue on top of it to glue it down. Once you have the exact triangle shape that you want, we're going to use that liquid glue and we're going to line the glue all the way around the top edge of our dessert slice and then set that triangle gently on top and then press a little bit more firmly once you have it in the exact spot you want it. And then we're going to turn it upside down so gravity will do most of the work and it will dry really cleanly all together.